In the name of Yahuwah, most merciful, most humble, and the most beneficent, bless and praise his set apart name. From the rising of the sun to the setting, the name of Yahuwah is to be praised. Nomadic marauders, robbing strongholds in the mind of all falsehood, one scripture at a time. And we all know about covenant. This is what gives us our understanding. This is what gives us our strength. This is what gives us our protection as we walk through this cold, wicked, dark world. So covenant, we need to walk in it. And so this is why I'm putting this together today, because it's going to be a series of these. Uh, and I don't know, I think I want to call it Stop Lying. But I'm going to be going through the scripture in this part of the series, this set, and just start to go through and just start to dismantle these lies that we've been taught since we were kids. And so we know we have to eat the whole roll if we want to get the full understanding of what Yahoo is trying to tell us. And that seems to be the problem. Most of us have been raised with half a Bible. So we must always stay humble. Proverbs 16:5. Everyone that is proud in heart is an abomination to Yahweh. Though hand join in hand, he shall not be unpunished. And that's what really helps us in our relationship with him, is because you got to be humble. And that's something I know I need to work on. Deuteronomy 4. He declared to you his covenant, the 10 Commandments, which he commanded you to follow, and then wrote them on 2 stone tablets. Declared is H number 5046, and Negad, to announce always by word of mouth to one present. So we know that's what Yah does. He always has a prophet, right? He always has somebody bring this word to you by word of mouth. And it do a testimony to publish, declare, proclaim, and inform. Deuteronomy 29. Keep therefore the words of this covenant and do them, that you may prosper in all that you do. You stand this day, all of you, before Yahweh your Elohim, your captains of your tribe, your elders, your officers, with all the men of Israel, your little ones, your wives, and thy stranger that is in thy camp, from the hewer of wood unto the drawer of water, that thou shouldest enter into covenant with Yahweh thy Elohim, and into his oath which Yahweh Elohim maketh with thee this day, that he may be established thee today for a people unto himself, and that he may be unto thee a Elohim, as he hath said unto thee, and as he hath sworn unto thy fathers, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob. But we see again, this is for everybody, right? For all men. The words of the book equal the mind of Yahuwah. Strong's 3056, logos, a word, the sayings of God, decree, mandate, or order of the moral precepts given by God. Old Testament prophecy given by the prophets. What is declared, a thought, a declaration, an aphorism, a weighty saying, a dictum or a maxim. We know that dictums and maxims point toward what? Points us toward the parables. Strong's 3G3004. To say, to speak, affirm, or over, maintain, to teach, to exhort, advise, to command, and direct. Topical encyclopedia found on Bible Hub. A precept in the Bible refers to principles, instructions, and guidelines derived from Elohim's teaching and commandments. These precepts serve as a moral guidelines intended to direct the behavior of individuals who follow the Christian faith, helping them to live according to God's standards. So we know that I mean, if I can go Bible Hub and go right to the topical encyclopedia, and this is what it's telling me, then we're going to see something is wrong, especially with this crack. Because according to this, a good Christian should understand what the precepts mean. Precepts in the Bible refer to divine principles, guidelines, statutes, and instruction that God has set forth for righteous living. But at the same time, we see they telling us that that's not necessary anymore. We're going to be looking at this today. But cursed be the deceiver, Malachi 1 and 14, which having his flock a male, and violeth and sacrifice unto Yahuwah a corrupt thing. For I am a great king, says Yahuwah of hosts, and my name is dreadful amongst the heathen. Many people are unaware that the Ten Commandments were proclaimed directly to the people by Yahuwah himself and then inscribed by his own finger, the decree of an all-powerful king. Even so, some insist that these words may be disregarded, claiming the king's commands have been altered or set aside, and wrongfully attribute this to Christ by teaching that he nailed them to the cross. A claim of this weight deserves thorough examination and clear explanation. Let us therefore consider what the Mashiach actually came to accomplish, since so many have been misled into this peculiar doctrine. Praise and magnify the name of Yahweh. Thank you for your time. The side stone presents in spiritual growth with the nomadic moray. The name of this class is Think Not. Let's get into it. Once we are done with this lesson, we must ask ourselves, is my teacher against Yahuwah and his law? That's going to be a hell of a question because, as I said, we know all of us that came out of Christianity, even some of us that never went to church, they always heard that they was under grace no matter what. They always heard that the law is impossible. It's a burden. You trying to put a burden on me. It's a trap. It's this. It's that. Let's keep it moving. All right. But when we look behind the scenes and we see the character and what they really worship and what they really believe. This is why it's so important for us to try to stay in this walk as strong as we can. Try to have our hands held with the Ruach as she leads and guides us. Because you'll start once we understand what we're going to understand today, you'll be able to spot one of these imposters instantly. This lesson forms parts of our Stop Lying series, and we begin first with Ha Messiachs. Many assume they are secure through grace, persuaded that Christ fastened everything to the cross. Our intent is to keep this as plain as possible, for Yahuwah's words are already framed so even the simplest person, and a child too, can grasp them. The trouble is how seldom these precious words of truth are taught to us from the start of life. Certain men have slipped in and corrupted the minds of the people, and the present state of things is the direct result. The responsibility rests on each person who claims to believe and walks in the way to make his calling and election sure. So the law, Torah, all right? Instruction, direction from the root, Yara, or Yahra, to shoot an arrow straight. Torah is not a burden. It is the divine aim, the instructions that keep you on target. So we can see this in Sirach 24 and 23, the Wisdom of Solomon 6 and 18, 1 Enoch 99. All right. So we see this even in the target. So commandments, the mitzvah. Strong's number H4687, meaning a command, an obligation, covenant requirement, divine directive, the function. A mitzvot are the moral and covenant commandments to do this and do not do this instruction. Appears over 180 times in the Torah. So that's pretty powerful. 180 times. So the mitzvot, the backbone of covenant obedience. So this is the backbone of it. All right. What you're supposed to do, what you should not do. Now, keyword toolbox, the language of these books, the status, the statutes, Sokim, engraved ordinances, laws that are cut inscribed. They exist by divine decree, whether or not we understand the reason. And they're non-negotiable and they are permanent. All right, so we can see this in Genesis 26 and 5, where it even says, even before Abraham had uh, uh, even before Moses, Abraham kept the commandments. Deuteronomy and 6 and Leviticus 19 is like one of my favorite chapters because if you don't have to have no understanding and read just that one chapter will let you know that something is wrong if somebody's telling me not to do these things or I don't have to do them anymore. So statutes. These are the because Yahuwah said so law. Statute. Ordinances, decree, prescribed limit, something appointed, the dietary laws, the feast regulations, right? The priestly instructions, purity laws, key insight. This is how we get by doing these things and by obedience, right? This is how we get our insight. So the king, the boundary Yahuwah sets because he said so. That sounds like your father or your mama or your grandma, somebody, boy, go do this. Why I got because I said so. So that means it has to happen, right? It has to happen. So there, and again, we know the boundaries that we can cross and the boundaries that we can't. Just like the sister said, she knows she had family coming. This is her Sabbath, so she got everything ready for them. She gonna rest until the sun go down. See, obedience. That's the key to this whole thing, and all that hang on them. Deuteronomy 5. I will speak unto you all the commandments and the statutes and the judgment. Deuteronomy 11. Therefore, you shall love Yahuwah your Elohim and keep his charge, his statutes, his judgment, and his commandments always. This is the full Torah structure in one verse. We're going to look at that again. Deuteronomy 6 and 1. Now, these are the commandments, the statutes, and the judgments, which Yahuwah your Elohim commanded to teach you. So, wait a minute. Not only did he say them out of his own mouth, and the people were so terrified, they said, we don't want to hear his voice anymore, but all he said we going to do. Then he came back and wrote them with his own finger. Then he commanded that the teachers are supposed to teach the people this. He commanded that we should teach the people this. So this is the verse that shows everything hangs together. Not separate laws, not optional categories, but one unified Torah. Let's go further, right? The law, because when people say, oh, it's the law, that's a terrible thing. Yeah, we're going to see how terrible it is. And Moses wrote all the words of Yahuwah. See, so again, this is why most people that don't have the understanding, we know it's because of the Ruach. But secondly, they're being trained from the time that they're a child to stay out of the Old Testament. Because there's no way possible you can read the Old Testament and not see that something is wrong. It's impossible. So you have Elohim that spoke these words, that wrote them down, and then all the other information that he gave to Moshe when he was up on the mountain, told him to write all my words down and put them in a book. So again, another part of the problem is the fact that we don't understand what a great king is. Like me and my wife was talking the other day. I mean, if you want to know anything about a king and his like as far as his law goes, when edicts come out of his mouth, All you got to do is look at Esther. When Haman tricked the king into coming up with so that he wanted to kill all the Hebrews. Once the king said the words came out of his mouth, he hit the page with his signet ring. That's it. And so once he understood what was going on, what did they say? Well, did he say I'm just going to go ahead and change this? No, he said, well, what did his wise advisor, Your Majesty, once you say this, it's law. This nothing else could be done. Well, I tell you what can we do? Okay, I can make another decree and say that the Hebrews can protect themselves. Then whatever happens is up to Yahweh. Boom. So the same thing that they did there, so the Father did the same thing with Ha Messiachs. Same thing. He's our protection. Let's keep moving. But that's the problem. We've been raised with presidents and all the we don't understand what it is to be under a true king and how heavy a king's words are. So Mashiach uses hangs in Matthew 22:40 when he said, on these two commandments hang all the law and the prophets, right? So the very two things that modern churchgoers are taught that they don't need to even worry about, because that's the Old Testament. He's referring to loving the Father and your neighbor. But he's not saying Torah is replaced. He is saying Torah hangs on love, meaning love is the foundation, not the replacement. But so many people, well, how can he do that? Because God is he's love, he loves everybody, he all this love. But they even in the New Testament, they don't even understand what this means. This matches Deuteronomy 6 and 5, love Yahuwah, and Leviticus 19 and 18, love your neighbor. Isaiah 8:20. But this is when we got to recognize if they're not teaching us this to the law of the Father and to the testimony of Yahushua, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them. So, 1 John 5 and 3. For this is the love of Elohim, that we keep his commandments, and his commandments are not grievous. And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment that, as you have heard from the beginning, you should walk in it. Jude 1, keep yourselves in the love of Elohim, looking for the mercy of our sovereign Yahshua Christ. So far we see this love thing. If we love the Father, the very first commandment, guess what? We're going to do everything that comes out of his mouth that we can do. And to continue in it. Herein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world. So we walking like him, we keeping his commandments. When the day of judgment, when the judgment comes, we're going to be able to stand there in white garments, bold, as we see others that refuse this information, right? Get dragged away because he never knew them. 1 John, he that says, I know him and keepeth not his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. Now, this is all New Testament. They profess, Titus 1, that they know Elohim, but in works they deny him, being abominable, disobedient, and to every good work reprobate. Herein is our love made perfect, that we may have boldness in the day of judgment, because as he is, so are we in this world. Many will say to me in that day, Sovereign, sovereign, have we not prophesied in thy name? So we know that these have to be some type of people that's going to church or believe something, because they prophesying. And in thy name, they casting out devils. And in thy name done many wonderful works. We go to the Y and help the poor little children. We go and volunteer at the soup kitchen. And me and my wife take so much of our salary every month and make sandwiches and get shaving cream and razors and tampons for the homeless women. See? So all these wonderful works. And then, well, I profess unto them, I never knew you. Depart from me, you that work iniquity, because they're not in covenant, They are lawbreakers against the king's words. That's something to think about. But now we already just read, right? 1 John 2 and 4, he that says I know him and keeps not his commandments is a liar. And the trust is not, the truth is not in him. So again, all these good things the people was doing, but guess what? It didn't equal covenant. So judgment, mishpatim, Strong's number H4941. Judgment, justice, legal decision, case law ruling. Mishpatim are the justice laws, how to treat people, how to resolve disputes, how to apply righteousness in real life. Why? Because it's the same way we in a civilization or we in the communities. It's the same thing here. The nation of Israel and everything that everybody else who wanted to be a part of them. So it covers fairness, restitution, penalties, social justice, legal rulings. Mishpatim equals the justice system of Torah, right? Somebody borrows something from me. Okay, you're supposed to bring it back. I shouldn't have to be running looking for you and no man, where my book at? I shouldn't have to go through that. I mean, just simple things. How a husband should treat his wife, how they're supposed to treat their child, how I'm supposed to even treat the animals, all the way down to the animals. This is what Mishpatim points out to us. It's just truth and fairness. Your whole duty, charge, observances, guarding, keeping, duties, like a watch post assignment. These are the responsibilities that come with being in covenant, which you are charged to maintain. Right? The mishmatim or mishmar. Right? Genesis 26:5, Targums of Akalos. Transgression. Right? Pesha or pesha'a, rebellion, willful crossing of a boundary, not accidental sin, but deliberate defiance of a known law. It's stepping over a line you know exists. So that's even for us. That's supposed to be righteous. We know when we're not supposed to be doing something, and we know when we're supposed to be doing something. Right? First Enoch 5 and 4. We're gonna look at some of these. Chapter of First Enoch, chapter 99, Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 2, just for some references. First Enoch 5, but you have not persevered in, nor observed the law of Yahuwah, but you have transgressed and have spoken proud and hard words with your unclean mouth against his majesty. You hard of heart, you will not have peace. And because of this, you will curse your days, and the years of your life you will destroy, and the eternal curse will increase, and you will not receive mercy. Enoch, chapter 108. Another book which Enoch wrote for his son Methuselah, and for those who will come after him and keep the law in the last days. You who have done good shall wait for those days till an end is made of those who work evil, and an end of the might of the transgressors. So we see that happening right now, right? And wait you indeed till sin has passed away, for the name shall be blotted out of the book of life and out of the holy books. You know, them books that is going to be opened. And their seed shall be destroyed forever, and their spirits shall be slain. Their spirits shall be slain. Okay, and they shall cry and make lamentation in a place that is chaotic, a chaotic wilderness. And in the fire shall they burn, for there is no earth there. I saw there something like an invisible cloud, for by reason of its depth I could not look over, and I saw a flame of a blazing fire blazing brightly, and things like shining mountains circling and sweeping to and fro. And I asked one of the holy messengers who was with me, and said unto him, what is this shining thing? For it is not a heaven, but only the flame of a blazing fire, and the voice of weeping and crying and lamentation and strong pain. And he said to me, this place which thou seest Here I cast the spirits of sinners and blasphemers, and of those who work wickedness, and of those who pervert everything that Yahuwah has spoken through the mouth of the prophets, even the things that shall be. So that's why I say, I mean, we've been commanded to teach this. So again, I mean, this is a hell of a warning right here. Scary, actually. For some of them are written and inscribed above in the Shamayim, in order that, let me move this over so I can see, the angels or messengers may read them and know that which shall befall the sinners, and the spirits of the humble, and of those who have afflicted their bodies and been recompensed by Elohim, and one of those who have been, and of those who have been put to shame by wicked men, who love Elohim and love neither gold nor silver nor any of the good things which are in the world, but gave over their bodies to torture, who, since they came into being, long not after earthly food, but regarded everything as a passing breath and live accordingly. Because now we just got done talking about Mamo. She's gone. And we see other people that we know gone. So, but us, we understand that this could happen at any time, any moment. So we have to what? We got to live accordingly to what we have been learning. And Yahuwah tried them much, and their spirits were found pure so that they should bless his name. And all the blessings destined for them I have recounted in the books, and he has assigned them their recompense because they have been found to be such as love heaven more than their life in the world. And though they were trodden underfoot of wicked men and experienced abuse and reveling from them, and were put to shame, yet they blessed me. So we can see that that is part of this walk. I mean, it's no way around it, because persecution is coming. And now I will summon the spirits of the good who belong to the generation of light. I will transform those who were born in darkness, who in the flesh were not recompensed with such honor as their faithfulness deserved. And I will bring forth in shining light those who have loved my holy name, and I will see each of them sit each on the throne of his honor. And they shall be resplendent for times without number, for righteousness is the judgment of Elohim. For to the faithful he will give faithfulness and the habitation of upright paths, and they shall see those who were born in darkness led into darkness, while the righteous shall be resplendent. And the sinners shall cry aloud and see them resplendent, and they indeed will go where days and seasons are prescribed for them. So we see that there's places, again, showing that what happens after death, or what's going to happen after death. Some, we've learned this, but again, I'm almost finished with that class. I want to have that up here. This is why, again, yeah, my mother just passed, but I mean, she's gone. I got my own work to do because I might not be here tomorrow. So again, I need to try to live accordingly, thinking at any time, like you said, but regarded everything as a passing breath. That's how we got to look at this thing. Can't we got family, but can't let your family knock you off your like they used to say back then, knock you off your square. And no, I'm not Masonic. I'm just saying it's on what you believe, what you stand on. Ain't that what they say now? I'm standing on this. So this is what it is for us too. So here's the thing you can screenshot for the class and whoever else might happen to come up here and look at one of our classes. That's gonna give you the whole thing. You want to go do your own research, go up on Strong's, and however you want to do. But I just thought that this would be good because I know sometimes some of us screenshot these things. All right. So command to teach you. Sava. Yeah. Strong's H66. This stupid thing. 80. To command, to order, to appoint, to charge with responsibility. Right? This shows that Torah is not optional. It is commanded and must be taught. So Torah is transmitted, not invented, right? Because we supposed to be out here doing these things, right? It's a lady that comes by here. All she does is she writes little scriptures and puts them in your mailbox. She goes about her business. Okay, I know that's supposed to be illegal, but that's what she does. That's her way of getting, you know what I mean? But this is what it is. This is what it's all about. So teach, alamad, Strong's from 3925, to teach, to train, to instruct, to discipline. Torah must be taught, trained, and passed down, not merely read. Teaching Torah equals building generational obedience instead of generational curses. Right? And that goes for all men. Right? The world would be such a beautiful, different place if all men understood and practiced this. So elect, chosen, right? Bachir, those who have been selected and separated by Yahuwah, identified in both Enoch and Revelation, specifically as the commandment keepers. First Enoch 5 and 8, 108, Revelation 14. 1 Enoch 5 and 8. And then there shall be bestowed upon the elect wisdom, and they shall all live and never again sin, either through ungodliness or through pride, but they who are wise shall be humble. Here we go again. That's how you get whatever you get from Yah. Right? So, Mahamar, a decree from the word Memra, commandment. The divine word as a personified agent of Yahuwah. So this is the Mashiach, used in the Targums and wherever the Hebrew text depicts. I'm sorry about you. I forgot my phone was in here. Uh, Appearing or speaking directly, the voice Israel and the stranger was to obey. All right. Targums are open those throughout the Torah, I'm sorry. Deuteronomy 30 and 14. But the word is very nigh to thee in thy mouth and in thy heart, that thou mayest do it. When you obey, accept the word, and it's the Targums of Adonai, your Elohim, to guard his commandments and his statutes written in this Torah scroll. When you turn back to Adonai, your Elohim, so wholeheartedly and with all your being. For this mitzvah that I am commanded you today, it is not abstruse to you, nor is it distant. It is not in heaven for you to say, who will go up to heaven for us and acquire it for us and inform us of it, and we will fulfill it. Nor is it overseas for you to say, who will travel overseas for us and acquire it for us and inform us of it, and we will fulfill it to inherit. For the matter is extremely close to you in your mouth and in your mind to fulfill it. See, I have placed before you today life and good, death and bad, for which I command you this day to love Yahuwah your Elohim, to go in his ways, prosper, proper before him, and to guard his commandments and his statutes and his laws. You will live and you will flourish, and Adonai your Elohim will bless you in the land that you are coming. All right. All right, let's keep moving. Just want to give you an example of how other books write it out. So uprightness, right? Yoshir, straightness, levelness, the quality of one who walks in line with the Torah. The upright person is one whose path matches the standard. We go to 1 Enoch 91 and read that chapter 92 as well. Both good. Let's see. Let's see what we're going to do with this. Prophetic root, Isaiah 42 and 21. He will magnify the law and make it honorable. So this is what the prophet said. Who's going to do that? Ha Messiachs. Strong's H 1431. Enlarge or gadal, amplify, increase, elevate. Mashiach is fulfilling Isaiah's prophecy by expanding the Torah's meaning, not erasing it. We're going to prove that this afternoon. So we see the word honorable, worthy of honor, fit to be esteemed or regarded, right? Here's the other one I love, illustrious. So This is what the Mashiach came to do. Esteemable, right? Let's keep it moving. Magnify the law. God, to make great, to cause to grow, to exalt. Yahuwah's pleasure was to make the Torah greater, not to diminish or remove it. We could look at the Targum, and the king will be a refuge for the poor, and the king will be a fortress for the needy. That's important to understand because we are the ones that's needy, right? I used to think that that meant people that was poor, and yeah, but at the same time, we understand by keeping the commandments, that's our king, we're his subjects, he's going to protect us. So we are the poor and the needy. I mean, so think not. In other words, exactly what they've been telling you, you got to tell them, I don't believe that. And we're going to show you why. Think not. Mashiach begins by correcting a false assumption. Think not that I have come to destroy the law or the prophets. I have not come to destroy, but to fulfill. For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth pass, one jot, one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law to all be fulfilled. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. And so we understand what that is now, because when we went through the wisdom of Solomon and then now Enoch, we see that when the people are, when they're in a state of wickedness, and they're being punished for that, you're going to be able to see them, and they're going to be able to see you. So that's the least of the kingdom. So, whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever shall do and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven. For I say unto you that except your righteousness shall exceed the righteousness of the scribes and the Pharisees, you shall in no case enter into the kingdom of heaven. It's just that simple. Because people say, well, at least I'm there. No, yeah, you're going to be there, but you're not going to be in the great part of the kingdom. So, Matthew 5, I came not to destroy the law, but to fulfill it. Right? To destroy is G number 2647. To dissolve it, to overthrow it, right? To demolish, to dismantle, to render invalid. Mashiach is not saying I did not come to dismantle or invalidate Torah. That's what he's saying. He's saying I did not come to do this. But they've been lying, saying that he nailed everything to the cross. Okay? So far, it's kind of, we see that it's a lot of wickedness going on. All right? Okay? Fulfill, G4137, meaning to fill up, to make full, to complete by expanding, to bring to full meaning, to magnify by showing its true intent. The Hebrew prophetic idea of making the law bigger, clearer, deeper, not erasing it. Mashiach didn't lighten the law. He tightened, expanded, and magnified it. See, this is the Hebrew foundation behind Mashiach's words. He is fulfilling Isaiah 42 by expanding Torah meaning, not erasing it. And so, Mashiach's pattern in Matthew 5, let's look at that. Every time he says, you have heard, but I say unto you, a lot of time he start out like that. Because, I mean, you've heard the Torah, you have heard, but this is what I'm coming in the flesh. I'm telling you this is what it is. And see, that's another problem. A lot of people don't understand that the Elohim that was on Mount Sinai was Ha Messiachs. You ain't never heard the Father's voice or seen his shape or anything at any time. He is magnifying the law. He is not replacing Moses. He is revealing Moses' full intent. Murder, anger. He expands Exodus 20:13. He uses orgizo. Anger, he shows the heart behind the command. Adultery. He expands Exodus 20:14. He uses I ain't good with the Greek, but G 1937 desire, he shows the inner motive behind the command, right? Because he said, well, look, man, even if you look at this, you ain't got to touch her. Just by looking at her, you already, you know what I mean? So this is what he was doing. Oaths, integrity. He expands Numbers 30 and 2. He uses Omnua, G33660, where he shows the character behind the command. So all he's doing is broadening your horizon, broadening your view on this thing, right? Every expansion is pliru, fulfilling by magnifying. So Mashiach's authority. Mashiach says he does nothing of himself, Strong's G 1438, of his own initiative, meaning he is not replacing Torah, he is revealing it. John 5 and 30, I seek not my own will, right? Desire or intentions, meaning his teaching is aligned with the Father's law, not separate. The Pharisees was coming with a whole another bunch of things that was oppressing the people because they was in this trying to stay in this mode of power or I mean, and they had the power to put you out of the temple and all these type of things. So a lot of people were scared to even challenge them. John 5 and 46, if you believe Moses, you would believe me. You will trust and rely on me. See, Mashiach's word magnifies Moses, not replace what he said. Mashiach's method, the six magnification. Let's look at that. Do not murder. He said, do not even harbor destructive anger. Do not commit adultery. Do not even cultivate lust by looking at that woman like that in your mind. Torah says, keep your vows. Mashiach magnifies. Let your yes be yes. Live truthfully. This is what he's telling you. Torah says eye for an eye, legal justice. Mashiach magnifies choose mercy over personal revenge. Torah says love your neighbor. Mashiach magnifies love even your enemy. Well, he keeps going, either blowing it up or going a step beyond. He ain't getting rid of nothing. And then so far we've been seeing where his saying's been coming from. So Mashiach is tightening Torah, not loosening it. He does nothing of himself, John 5 and 19, meaning he is not creating a new religion. He is revealing the Father's will. But they got all of a sudden, they got a whole nother, I'm a Christian. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I'm a Christian. I believe that Christ came and died. But again, they think it's a brand new thing now. Well, this is a new thing now. This is a New Testament. The Hebrews are out, the church is in, and where are they getting all this from? We know. He seeks the Father's will, right? Meaning his teaching is aligned with Torah, not separate from it. Moses testifies of him, John 5, meaning if you believe Mashiach, you must believe Moses. They speak the same voice. Deuteronomy 18. Yahuwah thy Elohim will raise up unto thee a prophet from the midst of thee of thy brethren, like unto me, unto him you shall hearken. So this is who he was talking. So they both talking about each other. And Moses is telling you, I mean, in a point in time, because y'all so wicked and y'all just not don't have no faith, don't believe nothing. Y'all gonna send you a prophet. He like unto me. And guess what? He gonna tell you what you should do and what you should not do. And hopefully you'll listen to him. But this man ain't came to change nothing, so they lying on the Mashiach. And we already see what from Enoch what's gonna happen to people that like to lie on Yah and his words and his name. Let's keep it moving. So Mashiach's authority is in harmony with Torah, not against it. John 1. And the word was made flesh and dwelt among us, and we beheld his glory, the glory as of the only begotten of the Father, full of grace and truth. So here come this word. He's full of grace and truth. He's loaded with it. Mashiach is the living manifestation of Torah. Word, Strong's number G3056. Logos, word. We saw that in the beginning too, right? message, utterance, divine expression, Torah instruction. Logos corresponds to the bar, the spoken Torah, the covenant word. Mashiach is the living, walking, breathing law in your face. That's who he was. The law walking around, full of truth and grace. Wow. Made flesh from Strong's G4561, meaning flesh, physical body, human nature. The Torah became visible, touchable, walkable, not abolished. Dwelt among us, to tabernacle, to pitch a tent, to dwell temporarily, the Shekinah dwelling in the tabernacle. Mashiach is the tabernacling presence of Yahuwah, the living sanctuary. So, full of grace, Strong's number 5485, meaning favor. Well, you hear people say that all the time. Well, I'm blessed and highly favored. Okay, favor, kindness, because that's just in your mind you blessed and highly favored, but you ain't in covenant with him. That's just Yah's kindness, right? And his mercy. It rained this morning, and people that got crops outside, we got a lot of people with farms up here. Their corn got wet, and the wicked people across the street, corn got wet too. I mean, that's just his mercy for his creation. But then we start looking at covenant compassion, a little bit different type of grace and mercy. Then you get the divine help when you in covenant with him. So Charis, I guess that's how it corresponds to said 26:17, covenant mercy, loving kindness, steadfast love. Grace equals Yahuwah covenant mercy, not a replacement for Torah. But that's what we've been taught. Well, I'm under grace, man. I'm good. And and whenever I do these classes, trying to show these lies and break the commandments down, I got to make these statements because this is what's been drilled in our mind. Right? Mashiach came full of covenant mercy to comfort the people because they was being tormented by the Pharisees and the Sadducees, and then the Roman police and all these other things that was going on. Same condition, just a different time. And truth. It's from G number 225. Truth, reality, faithfulness. What is right? Divine standard. Aletheia corresponds to emet, right? Or emet. H Hebrew word emet, H number 571, which means truth, firmness, faithfulness, Torah reality. Right? Truth equals Torah. Mashiach came full of Torah, not empty of it. So grace and truth equals mercy and truth, which equals Torah. This phrase is a Torah formula used repeatedly. Exodus 34:6, Yahuwah is abundant in mercy and truth. Psalms 85:10, mercy and truth have met together. Psalms 89:14, mercy and truth go before your face. Proverbs 16:6, by mercy and truth, iniquity is purged. So this is why they keep you out of the old part of the book. Because now you're going to see what truth is, and you're going to be able to see what iniquity is. And then you're going to say, I got to purge myself from around this joker here that's teaching me this, or from around, because my grandmother went to this church for 50 years and all this type of stuff. In Hebrew thought, mercy, chesed, is plus truth, and met equals Torah in action. So when John says Mashiach came full of grace and truth, he's saying Mashiach came full of Torah and covenant mercy to restore the people. And some of this stuff I'm going to say more than once because I'm trying to get the same way you was drilled from in your head thinking that grace is all these that just showed up in the New Testament and you've been hearing that for years and years and years and years. It's the same thing. We got to do the same thing because we got to try to take the truth and just like full of soap, like the Father said, and scrub it out your mind. So the restoration mission. Grace, chesed, equals comfort, mercy, and compassion. Truth, emet, equals Torah, covenant reality, divine standard. Mashiach came to comfort the broken, restore the lost, magnify the Torah, reveal its heart, right? Bring the people back to covenant. Right? And he showed you that the heart, what the heart of the law is. It's really mercy, but it's truth. Because, like he said, an eye for an eye. Okay, everybody, you killed this, you put this man, you did this to this man. So now, wait a minute, hold on. That's why he said what he said with the lady that committed adultery. He just sat there right in the sand. They grabbing big boulders. Oh, she's so wicked. He said, okay, well, anybody out here right now ain't had no sin in them. Go ahead and throw the stone first. They all walked away. Heal the nation, strengthen obedience, show the Father's mercy. He didn't come to erase Torah. He came to embody it and teach the people. That had been engulfed in the Pharisees and Sadducees' doctrine that oppressed the people and made it hard to understand and keep Torah. Now tell me they're not doing that today. Same thing. These Pharisees and Sadducees run around talking about legalism, but they still got a Bible. They still know the commandments, just like the Pharisees did. We know that. But then they keep their people oppressed because they get steady in their pocket, putting pressure on them, making them feel guilty if they don't give $1,000, right? And then they make it hard to understand Torah because they keep telling that's legalism. Stay away from the old part of the book. It's no different, just a different time. Same tactics. Isaiah 40. Now let's look at this. Comfort ye, my people, says your Elohim. Speak you comfortably to Jerusalem, and cry unto her that her warfare is accomplished, that her iniquity is pardoned. Because all y'all, everything I've been beating y'all down for, you know what? Okay, the battle between us is over. I'm sending you a gift. For she hath received of Yahuwah's hand double for all her sins. Right? And we know that the curses is alive and well and continue because and our only hope still is this comfort that we find in Ha Messiachs. But we got to do it the way he said do it. But at the same time, we hear this so many times. Well, man, what happened to Buddy? Oh man, he got caught with like I think he had like a gram of cocaine or crack. Oh yeah, but then what happened? Well, you know what? If he'd been white, he said outside. If it was a white man, he wouldn't have to go. If it was this, you would. You why? Because you don't. They not in covenant like you are. So he gonna pay you double for all the things that you do. But we just refuse to hear truth. But it keeps happening. So the voice of him that crieth in the wilderness, prepare you the way of Yahuwah, make straight in the desert a highway for our Elohim. Wait a minute, for our Elohim, yes, he's the one that gave the commandments on top of the mountain. Every valley shall be exalted, and every mountain and hill shall be made low, and the crooked path shall be made straight, and the rough places plain, because here comes the king. We don't want him to have no trouble getting to us. We want him to have a clear path as he comes with his entourage or his camels and you know how kings used to do back in the day. And the glory of Yahweh shall be revealed. Who? How's that revealed? Because it's the Mashiach, the walking living Torah is right here. And all flesh shall see it together, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it. So here's another little table for y'all if y'all want to keep it. Go ahead and screenshot that. You can practice these words, however you want to do it. Okay, let's keep it moving. Grace plus truth equals chesed, emet equals Torah plus mercy. That's the Mashiach's whole mission. The gospel to bring the people back to covenant. They got us thinking the gospel is all the good news. What's the good news? Well, Christ came. Okay, well then what else did he do? Why did he come? Who did he come to? All these questions are never asked, are never answered. So the rich young ruler, he knew the commandments, but he wasn't there. Mashiach didn't say, you're wicked, you're lost, you're blind. He didn't say none of that. He said, You are not far from the kingdom. Now think about that. This man, let's keep going. But I want you to keep this phrase, you are not far. That's deep. And I'm going to show you why. He was close, but not complete. He had the commandments. He knew them from the time he was little. He knew covenant knowledge, right? He understood all the covenant. He had to because he was keeping the commandment, right? He knew what obedience was, and he knew what righteousness was. He knew these things, but he lacked surrender, detachment from the world, and willingness to let go. But the mind blowing part about this, even though he said he started naming the commandment, but he still, but then the Mashiach gonna say, "You are not." In other words, you ain't at the king. He said, "Okay, I can see you way over there on the hill, but you know what I'm saying. You are not far from the kingdom." But see, this is what I'm trying to get us to understand. He knew all these things. That means he was keeping the feast days. He was doing all these things, but he still didn't say, "Well, you're gonna be in the kingdom this day with me." He didn't say nothing like. He said, "Man, you're not far. You closer than most." But you still ain't here at the doors of the kingdom. That's deep. That is, I said, wait a minute, what? Yeah. See, the heart level magnification of Mashiach came to reveal. He knew Torah, he kept Torah, but he didn't cross the boundary. Even with all that obedience, he still wasn't in. Mashiach said, "You aren't foul." Wow. That's why Mashiach said, one thing you lack. One thing, not 10, not 50, not start over. Just one boundary he couldn't cross. Mammon and the lack of trust. That's what did him. Because he's like saying, well, just give up everything you got. Come on and follow me. Now, said great teacher, said so in your mind, you got to think this is somebody important. And he answered you, he broke down and answered your question, but that still wasn't good enough to give up that lifestyle, that money, the filthy richness of it all, and follow you. Nah, I can't do that. Look what the book says. He went away sad. That's why we always got to check ourselves. And it's good if you know what you're doing wrong, it's good that you understand that. Because you can still try to fix it. It's when you doing things that you don't know is wrong and you don't understand. That's the danger. Now let's look at another example. King Hezekiah. He was righteous. He kept Torah. He tore down idols. He restored worship. But even he hit a boundary, which was death. And Yahweh extended him 15 years. Why? Because Hezekiah humbled himself, prayed, cried out, aligned his heart, returned to covenant. Obedience matters, heart matters, surrender matters, boundaries matter. You're not guaranteed tomorrow. None of us is. You're not guaranteed extension. You're not guaranteed 15 years. So we got to walk accordingly. Right? Let's keep it moving. Because Elohim is a covenant making, covenant keeping being. Faithfulness is of ultimate importance to him. He is absolutely faithful. He expects his covenant servants to be faithful. Exodus 34:6 says, Yahuwah passed before him, Moshe, and proclaimed Yahuwah, Elohim merciful and gracious, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love and faithfulness. My prayer to the Father is that we have presented this teaching with the utmost clarity. Many who come to this lesson carry a formidable idol in their minds, one they must overcome before they can even hope to glimpse the kingdom. Salvation is guaranteed to none of us. The burden falls on each of us to heed the instructions given without question and to wrestle against the flesh, a weight that is truly staggering. Such effort tilts the odds in our favor, or at the very least offers hope of a better outcome than we would face by neglecting it or electing to remain ungodly. In other words, ungodliness. Choice belongs to every one of us, and in that lies the beauty and mercy of Yahuwah. Thank you, Father. Praise Yahuwah, all you peoples. Shalom. All right. Now, ungodly, Strong's number 7563. wicked criminal, guilty of a crime, wicked, hostile to Elohim, wicked, guilty of sin against Elohim, unrighteous, deserving punishment, and worthless. Okay, so with that being said, let's do this here. We're going to stop right here. Ab Yahuwah, we thank you so much for this class. We thank you for helping us put this class together. We ask that you watch over all of us in this class. We ask that you remember all the ones that's wherever they are in this world, no matter what they look like, Father. If they're walking or trying to walk in your ways, please remember and protect them. We ask that you watch over all those that wish they could have been in class today for whatever reason are not here. And we also, Father, I ask that you just remember my family in this terrible, well, not terrible time, and in this rough time right now. Because thank you, Father, for my mother keeping the commandments and walking in your statutes, doing everything in her power to try to walk in the ways that you prescribe. That gives me great comfort. And I thank you, Father, in all things, for all things, Ha Messiachs, the beautiful love gift that you gave us so that we can one day maybe be in your presence, and also the Ruach that guides and leads us into all truth. We ask these things and we say this prayer, Father. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name we pray. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
All right, so let me stop.